Straight ahead on 12 News, the need for qualified workers.
40% of the electricians in Minnesota will be retiring in 10 years.
How an apprenticeship program aims to help meet the shortfall. Then Plymouth gives back.
There's a lot more that's, behind the badge than what sometimes people think.
See how public servants and volunteers came together to provide Christmas for kids. Also, the local reaction from Native Americans on a controversial pipeline project. 12 News starts right now.
Hello and thanks for joining us. We begin with news from Golden Valley-based General Mills about a restructuring that could eliminate hundreds of jobs.
And some of those jobs may be at the company's local headquarters. A statement from General Mills says the changes will affect 400 to 600 jobs. It's not clear how many cuts will be local, but a spokesman says there will be reductions at other locations as well. Statement says the restructuring will help unlock global growth opportunities by efficiently restructuring General Mills' teams and processes. About 3,000 people work at the Golden Valley headquarters.
Despite the news from General Mills, recent unemployment data reflects a resilient job market. Nationally, the unemployment rate hit a 9-year low. Locally, the numbers are also holding steady, all below 4%. In Brooklyn Center, it's the highest with unemployment at 3.8%. Plymouth is lowest at 2.7%.
I think it's a great reflection on our economy and how healthy our economy is presently. It continues to be over time, which is great. I think it bodes well also for the state. We're the 4th largest economy in the state of Minnesota. I think that reflects well.
Manufacturing is Plymouth's #1 industry, providing 1,300 jobs. Professional, scientific, and technical services is second.
Nationally and here locally in Minnesota, electricians are in high demand.
One Brooklyn Park electric company says it sometimes has to turn away business because of the electrician shortage. In this week's Business Matters, a look at how new electricians are trained through an apprentice program as the need for licensed electricians continues to grow.
Oh, look at that. They wrap the screws around.
Joel Hicks is at work on his future.
Every customer's house you go into, you just never know what you're going to find or what surprise you're going to find. So probably just the variety of work that we do is what I like the most.
The 26-year-old is in the final months of a 4-year paid apprentice program at Randy's Electric in Brooklyn Park. And his boss, Randy Smith, can't wait for Joel to pass his journeyman's electrician test.
It's really hard to find journeyman electricians, so I'm looking all the time for excellent people, people who enjoy customer service, enjoy working in other people's homes.
Thank you for choosing Randy's Electric. This is Mary Jo. How may I help you?
Randy's is currently offering a $3,000 signing bonus to fill 2 open positions. But especially after the recession, it's been a challenge to find licensed electricians.
40% of the electricians in Minnesota will be retiring in 10 years. Which means there's huge opportunity for people.
My base salary will be right around $60,000 a year, and it can only go up from there.
For Joel Hicks, working in the electrical trades is a fit. After starting at a 4-year college, Joel realized a 4-year electrical apprenticeship program suited him better, given he was always good with his hands and he had a knack for seeing how things fit together. It's a field with lucrative prospects.
Electricians, once you have your journeyman's license, you'll make at least $60,000 a year, and some of the guys that I employ will make $140,000 this year, with bonuses and incentives.
As he finishes his work as an apprentice, Joel has his sights set on the next big job ahead.
Passing the journeyman test is probably going to be one of the greater accomplishments of my life. Got married a couple years ago. This is going to be right up there with that.
After working a year as a licensed journeyman electrician, there is also a test that can be taken to become a master electrician. Local Native Americans are reacting to a ruling blocking a controversial pipeline in North Dakota.
A decision on Sunday would keep the Dakota Access Pipeline from crossing under a North Dakota river. Some are calling this a victory, but others not so sure. Eric Nelson has more.
Yeah, Alex and Mike, I spoke to 3 people from North Hennepin Community College who have been to Standing Rock, North Dakota. They were cautiously optimistic about the decision to block the last link of the 1,772-mile pipeline, which they call the Black Snake. But they say it's too early to celebrate.
It's a small victory, but we need to stay vigilant because as of last night, DAPL was still drilling. And they're just willing to pay the fines.
What the government is doing isn't necessarily out of the goodness of their hearts, that it's taken a struggle, it's taken a movement of people to say, hey, look, this is what's happening, to raise the awareness.
They call themselves water protectors, and they have been in the trenches at Standing Rock. North Hennepin students Deborah Nessheim and Roxanne Flumand, along with school administrator Michael Burchard, have been to North Dakota multiple times. Their goal is to prevent the Dakota Access Pipeline from being built under the Missouri River.
We want the pipeline out of the ground. And until they take them pipelines out of the ground, they can always come back and reconnect.
The water protectors are afraid that the pipeline might spring a leak someday and pollute the river.
Them snakes of iron are going through, and that's what the pipelines are. And they do break it.
The North Hennepin threesome promises to keep fighting to prevent the pipeline's final link from being completed at Standing Rock.
We can't live without water. We can't. You can go without food for a few days, but you will certainly die within a matter of days without water.
Now, the Dakota Access Pipeline is a $3.7 billion project that proponents say is a safer way of transporting Bakken crude oil to American refineries. Mike?
Thank you. There's been no announcement yet, but Congressman Keith Ellison left the door open that he may leave Congress if he gets the top job at the Democratic National Committee. Ellison was speaking at a forum in Denver over the weekend. He says other elected officials have served as chairman of the National Party Committee, but he's also heard concerns about doing it as his only job. He was just re-elected to the 5th Congressional District. There may be a change coming for local political candidates in Maple Grove. The City Council is considering raising the fee required to file for office from $5 to $40. That would be the first change since 1959. The state legislature approved higher fees in 2014, and city officials say the expense of processing applications justifies the increase. In the last election, 6 candidates ran for 2 positions on the city council.
An accident in Rogers could have been worse. Police directed traffic around a truck and a trailer that rolled over in a ditch on County Road 81 during the morning rush hour. Hennepin County Dispatch says the driver sustained only minor injuries. It's unclear why the truck rolled over, but there were patches of ice on area highways at the time.
Coming up, making sure needy kids have gifts at Christmas, and there are ways you can help.
And later in sports, Hopkins runs and guns its way to a win at a big girls basketball event.
But first, there is a definite chill in your AccuWeather forecast.
If you are looking to help needy children with gifts at Christmas time, there are some early deadlines to consider. Brooklyn Park is collecting for the Toys of Joy program sponsored by SEEP. You can donate new unwrapped toys at Brooklyn Park City Hall or the Community Activity Center by December 16th, and that is the end of next week. In New Hope, the deadline is this Friday, December 9th, to drop off toys at the New Hope Police Department. Those toys will be distributed by the Near Food Shelf and also Toys for Tots. This holiday season, you don't have to go far to see people helping those less fortunate.
Over the weekend in Plymouth, police officers and firefighters shopped with local children. Reporter Shannon Slatton shares what they did.
That's a hard decision. So are you thinking Legos?
If you go through the toy department during the holidays and watch a kid,
That's a nice one.
you can see they can find no shortage of items for their wish list.
This mini drone.
But this time, kids aren't shopping for themselves, but for their families.
What's your brother's name again?
Abraham.
Abraham is going to love his superhero.
And they have a special helper, too.
Do you want to write that down?
Plymouth police officer Aaron Marsh is tagging along with Aliyu Ali to help him pick pick out gifts.
He said these gifts are for your family and friends and cousins. So I thought about my cousins and friends first.
Leading the way.
Yeah.
To the toy section.
This pair is one of 15 where underprivileged children from Plymouth are paired up with police officers and firefighters to shop for their families.
Nothing makes the holidays a little bit brighter though than having some presents, and so that's why we've been teaming up with them with kids for 4 years doing this.
The goodwill doesn't end there. All the money the kids are shopping with comes from the Plymouth Lions Club and the Rotary Club. Plus,
Target helps us out by donating to from cards, wrapping paper, and bows, and we've got Target team members that are helping to wrap presents as well.
this shopping event is a way for public servants to reach out.
There's a lot more that's, behind the badge than what sometimes people think.
And show that they are part of a much larger community who cares.
So are we good?
Yep.
All right, right here, buddy. Awesome.
In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Each child got to shop with $130, and after completing their shopping list, they also got to buy something for themselves. Pretty cool afternoon, huh? Yep. Well, coming up, photographs that are winning praise.
But first, a talented and experienced boys basketball team is shooting for big goals this season. Jay Wilcox has the story of the Champlin Park Rebels up next in sports.
This has got to be a lot of fun getting together with some of the best football players in high school football at the end of the season.
An added bonus this year, of course, being in the new stadium. Some of the guys who got far enough in the playoffs got the chance to play there, but most of these kids did not. The Minnesota High School All-Star football game has been played in June for many years after the graduation of senior players. Now the game's been moved to right after the football season and renamed the Minnesota Football Showcase. And this year featured several local players. In a defensive struggle, South defeated North 15-7. The South leads the series now 5-2 versus the North since the game switched from the previous Metro versus Outstate format. An impressive collection of basketball teams gathered at the Lindbergh Center at Hopkins High School Saturday for the Breakdown Tip-Off Classic. Coach Brian Cosgriff and top-ranked Hopkins girls facing Casson Manorville. The Royals' Paige Beckers hits a long three, gives Hopkins a 9-2 lead on her way to a big game. Beckers drives and dishes the pass to Delayla Chicolas for the layup, and it is 15-8 Royals. Hopkins gets on a roll from there. Jade Presley with a three from out high. The Royals go on a 36-0 run in the first half. A long afternoon for Coach Ryan Haroldson and the Comets. Hopkins' Tasia Tremble fights for the steal and helps turn it into points. Kayla Adams to Lucy Swift for the layup as Hopkins opens up a 40-point lead at halftime. Second half, and Beckers with one of her 8 steals starts another break for the Royals. Dee Winston gets 2 off the Beckers assist. Beckers scores 28 and the Royals win 78-30. They'll host St. Michael Albertville Tuesday night at 7 in a game you can see live on Channel 12 and our HD channel 799. Also at the breakdown, Champlin Park girls meeting White Bear Lake. Erica Hicks steps in for a steal for the Rebels. Then junior guard goes coast to coast for the layup and an early lead for Champlin Park. Katie Cummings is open on the wing and drains a three-pointer, and Champlin Park goes up by 5 on the Bears. But White Bear Lake fights back to take the lead. Sophie Janicki with the 3 to put White Bear Lake ahead by 6 points at halftime, 34-28. Second half, and Hicks comes up with another steal for the Rebels. She passes to Allison Garrett, who lays it in for 2 of her 13. Champlin Park's within 1. But the Bears don't give up the lead. Jordan Farron lays in 2 down low to give White Bear Lake a 6-point lead once again. The Bears go on to win 64-51. Champlin Park is now 1-1 this season. They play at Armstrong on Tuesday. Also at the Tip-Off Classic, Park Center falls to Eastridge 55-51. Summer Blakemore led the Pirates in scoring with 12. Park Center is 1-1. In addition to 12 girls games, 4 boys games were played at the breakdown. Top-ranked Champlin Park runs past Rochester John Marshall 113-74. McKinley Wright, one of 6 Rebels in double figures with 27. Also, Hopkins beat Cedar Falls, Iowa 85-77. Ishmael Elamine paced the Royals with 32. AJ Green had 42 for Cedar Falls. Well, as we said, Champlin Park's boys team also part of that Tip-Off Classic, and they pounded Rochester John Marshall. The Rebels are ranked #1 in Class 4A in what could be a very special season. When you start with two of the state's best players on one team, it's no surprise that the Champlin Park Rebels are viewed as a state title threat. Big man Theo John, a Marquette signee, and McKinley Wright, who's headed to Dayton, are ready to dominate as seniors.
We're all motivated. We all got that heart to win every game, and we're going at it in practice, and I'm liking what I've seen so far.
I mean, everybody knows you can't get things done without the players. You know, the boys do the work on the floor, and to their credit, they listen to their coaches once in a while, and good things happen. But outstanding players, lots of experience. You know, been playing since 9th grade here at Champlin Park, so real proud of them, and I think they'll bring a lot of that experience here to this season.
There's plenty beyond John and Wright, too. Guys like Brian Smith, DJ Hunter, Marcus Hill, and Josiah Strong are fast and athletic.
I mean, we got plenty of other talent. I mean, and Josiah, Brian, DJ, Marcus, Sam. We got so many scorers. It's like everybody worried about me and Theo, but we got other players that can go out and put up 25 a night easily. So we got a really good team.
After the Rebels finished as state runner-up 2 seasons ago, they were 21-7 and lost in the Section 5 semifinals last winter. A good season by most team standards, but the Rebels were far from satisfied.
Yeah, I mean, last year to us was a disappointment. We let ourselves down, we let our city down, our school down. We're definitely using that as motivation for this year, and we'll be ready for those challenges.
We fell short last year. I think we should have been in the state tournament last year, but we know we didn't play as good as we should have last year. But as of right now, our first 2 practices, we've been playing really well. We're way more intense. We talk way more on defense. The ball moves around way more, so I think we're a lot better this year than we were last year.
Buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride for Champlin Park this winter. Champlin Park is also part of next Saturday's second Breakdown Tip-Off Classic, which leans more heavily toward boys games. The Rebels will be taking on Apple Valley, and they're just one of a lot of really good boys teams we have in the area again this year.
All right, fun to watch.
That's right.
Thanks a lot, Jay. Coming up, some can't-miss pictures, including kids, a dog, and the moon.
We will show you in just a moment.
Good photographers seem to just have that knack for finding eye-catching scenes.
In New Hope, 19 photographers entered dozens of photos for the annual New Hope In Focus contest. And here's a look at the winners. In the nature category, Tom Christensen got a view of the moon that wowed the judges. The picture is titled New Hope's Nightlight. Molly Sanborn won first place in the people category for a picture called Bath Time Reflections, a photo of her daughter's reflection in a shower door. And Dak Naring finished first in the place category for Running Free. It's a picture of his children and their dog running in a local park near Sunset. And all the pictures had to be taken somewhere in the city by people who either live, work, or go to school in New Hope. And hard to miss with kids, a dog, and a really huge tree.
Absolutely stunning.
That's a good picture, yeah. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again on Tuesday starting at 4 o'clock.